What is going on, everyone? Hope you guys are all having yourself a great Thursday night. We got a special guest, Mr. Robert Russo. And tonight we're gonna be kind of doing like a mini podcast-ish live training. Like we're literally just gonna be going back and forth on building on a Facebook group. So Rob currently has his own Facebook group community called I think Rob, your group is called, is it Profit?
Profitable copywriting for business owners.
Yep, yep,
Yes.
yep. So Rob currently has a group called Profitable Copywriting for Business Owners, right? So to keep it simple, and we'll be breaking it down the foundations, but essentially what Rob is doing is he built a Facebook group community, right? And other clients of mine as well, from Jamal, Carrie, um, and there are existing copywriters already that are just looking to scale. So what Rob has done, and all the other clients as well that I just mentioned, they built a community in order to get leads inside the group and ultimately give value by posting content, messaging them. And again, it's the same exact thing that I do for my how I run my own business, where I've created this community here called Mastering Copywriting. And what I'm doing is I'm getting leads inside my community and I'm messaging people, building relationships, having conversation, giving tips, ask people to jump them onto a call, and ultimately, of course, give value, build a relationship. And for people who are ready to jump the gun and get into, the program, again, giving the necessary tips and feedback for people who are ready to jump the gun and get to the next level. Right. So for example, what Rob here is doing is the same exact process. So Rob has built the community called the Profitable Copywriting for Business Owners. And what he's doing is he's getting individuals, business owners, because that's his essentially his ideal clientele. He's getting people inside his community. They're joining the groups, building relationships with these people, getting people to see Rob ultimately. He's connecting with them inside the DMs and booking calls with people and essentially getting clients from that. Right. So that's essentially the whole process. And if like to give a quick thing as well, like I do wanna introduce. I feel like I was talking for, you know, a
Well, not at
little bit
all.
too long. I
No,
didn't
not
even
at
do an
all.
introduction for Mr. Rob here. I was like, man, Nick's the guy talking, man. This
Yeah.
guy, I feel like everybody inside the group's like, man, this guy Nick, man, he just loves talking.
We love hearing you talk, though. That's why we want to keep going.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But yeah, before we get into that though, man, kind of explain who you are, Rob. Kind of introduce everybody to whoever's watching this. I'm not too sure who's watching. Introduce who you are, man. And for those that are watching this right now, show some love down in the comment section. Rob is the
Yeah.
man. He's crushing it, and yeah, man. Introduce who you are, brother.
Okay, perfect. So for those of you who don't know me as of yet, based on previous, lives we've done, or even just seeing some of my content, my name is Robert Russo, and I'm a copywriter. I recently joined Nick's program. I want to say about 6, 7 months ago, and before that time frame itself, I was working through Fiverr predominantly and getting gigs through Fiverr. Obviously, very low scale, low paying gigs. And that was kind of what I did to kind of prompt myself to getting my feet wet with copywriting as a whole. And aside from using Fiverr, I was also, cold DMing people, or even the cold emailing them, I'd say, is what I was predominantly utilizing as a approach to try and get clients. I really had no idea what to even say or what to even include in my emails when I did send these out. And that's kind of what led me to want to join a program such as Nick's. And, we got on a call together and he really helped to, describe the framework, the outline, and also the process behind his program. He was very genuine, upfront, and easy to trust too, just based on all the videos and testimonials I saw from him as well. And that's kind of what led me on my current journey now to being part of the MC family and now growing my own copywriting business. And as of late, of course, I am doing that, more specifically through my Facebook group now, where I'm, building an audience, getting individuals into my group who are at least aware of copywriting based on them, of course, accepting the invitation, making content, interacting with others, giving free value, free advice, free information, tips and tricks. And that's kind of where I'm at right now with my business. And I am also working a full-time job on top of my copywriting, side hustle, so to speak. So
Massive, right there.
yeah. So I
That's
mean,
something. Yeah, that's massive.
yeah. So it is a lot of work, but that's just like part of the process too. I know that there's there's more opportunity out there aside from the office life and 9 to 5. And that's kind of what my main focus is outside of work is, of course, building this copywriting business. And if I'm able to do it, anyone else can too. Just a matter of, dedicating the time to it when you do have the free time, giving up watching TV, Netflix, Instagram, just being mindful of your time and kind of dedicating that towards your goals, really. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, with the main focus right now being the Facebook group for my business.
I love it, man. I love it. And I was just about to ask that as well. I think like I feel like for me it's a little bit different because I do this full time. Like I literally wake up,
Yeah.
go on the laptop, grow the group and everything as well. Like I do this a full-time thing, but it's a little bit different for you because I know like you have a full-time job, like
Mhm.
you're also growing the group. So I kind of want to hear your insights on that. Like kind of break it down like how you like kind of prioritize your time like with growing the group and posting the content because man, like if I were to, if I was, of course, I always look at your group and I look at all the other clients as well from Carrie and Jamal. I mean, all of you guys are, I love the content you guys are all doing, but, um, but I think one thing too, it's like, how exactly for you, Rob, like, how do you have the time to do that? Like, I'm just very curious, like, to see because
Mm.
you work a full-time job, like, you have so many things, but, talk about like, yeah, like your day to day in terms of building the group and everything as well, bro.
Yeah, so aside from my 9 to 5 job itself, I mean, if I do have time, for example, on a lunch break, if I do have my phone on me, I'll even do some, quick DMs that way, whether I'm sending an initial message to somebody or sending an invitation to my group or responding back to someone that I have a dialogue going on with in the DMs. So I try to really just focus on making best use of my time. I mean, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, and I think it's just a matter of really focusing in and honing in on where you can kind of, trim your time accordingly.
For
Cutting out
sure.
things that are not real value add after work, like watching, TV shows, scrolling on, TikTok or Instagram, or, even, spending the time it takes to make food each day. Like I like to meal prep all my stuff on a Sunday just so I don't have to worry about it, day to day.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of me just utilizing the free time that I do have when work finally is over at 5 o'clock. I get home, I get in, get in a mindset that I know I have to at least do something to move my business forward, even if it's, an hour and a half, or even 2 hours for that night. As long as I am putting in some kind of, nurturing to my business, I know I'm at least doing my job to at least keep the ball moving, even if it is,
Yeah.
baby steps and, not really putting a full-fledged day of work into my side hustle because I don't, we don't
100%.
have the time to do it on top of the full-time job, but at least I'm putting some sort of time into it each day.
100%. 100%. And I think to piggyback to what you said as well, it's a matter of like what's your priorities,
Right.
right? And I could see for you as well, like, like you're talking about, you don't take a lot of time like scrolling through TikTok, Instagram, TV time, like you, even though you work a full-time job, like you of course work, you still
Mhm.
make sure that this Facebook group is a big priority in your life.
Right.
Yeah, I think is the one of the key things to building something massive, right? Where you understand what are my priorities, what am I dedicated to, what are my commitments, and knowing that, the priorities, for example, for the group is something that you have to constantly just keep putting attention in to make sure that it's growing. Right. So I love that, man. And again, like the reason I think it's because even for me as well, like I do this full time, so it's a little bit different. But I'm
Right.
really glad to hear a perspective from your end where it's like, man, like I do this full time, yet I'm still growing the group.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
still growing the group and I'm still messaging and booking calls as well with people. Yeah, man,
Right.
for sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too is just, showing up every day. I do have, of course, extra time after I'm off work. I mean, I still do other things after work, like going to the gym, but I try and be efficient with that as well, where I just, get in, get out, and get back to my side hustle, my business of growing my copywriting. So it's just a matter of really just being mindful of the extra time you do have, and even like doing like a mining of the time you do have after work, and kind of just identifying areas you can be more efficient in.
For
kind of
sure.
like probing it or just kind of taking a look at what your calendar is like and where you're actually putting your time when you're not actually working on your full-time job. And
Hmm.
then it just becomes a lot easier mentally for you to really identify how to be more efficient with the extra time you do have.
1000%, 1000%. I think for even just for a lot of people, like when they hear like, oh my gosh, like I just got to create a Facebook group and I'll be able to ultimately like make a ton of clients and everything as well.
Yeah.
It sounds so easy and it sounds so simple. And I want
Mhm.
to hear your perspective on it because I know it's not simple and easy. There comes a
Right.
lot of new things. Like you have to like unveil so many new skill sets. Like there's so many things that come with it, from DMing to
Mm,
sales calls. Like it's so much things that you have to essentially develop within yourself to make sure that the group actually becomes profitable, right? And
right.
you can actually make it work. I don't say profitable, like actually making it work, right? So
Mm,
I want to hear your perspective on it as well. Like because I know for me, like when I first started my Facebook group, from back in 2022. So right now we have like almost 1900 members. And I've been growing this group since 2022. So this was back in September, right?
mm,
And when I first started, like creating content, because I naturally was a copywriter before. Like I've written copy for countless of people before, so I understand the game of creating content. But actually messaging somebody from DMing them when they first joined the group to then connecting with them to getting them onto a call, that was one of the biggest challenges that I had when I first started. Like it was a new language for me because I've never ever done that. Like it was a complete new ball game for me. And it was a new skill set that I essentially had to develop with time after putting in the reps, putting in a lot of getting feedback from my mentors on telling me, hey, do this, hey, don't do that, hey, good job with this, or hey, continue doing this. I had to get the right feedback for me to continue to get better and better with messaging people. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because like when people hear like, "Hey, I just got to grow a Facebook group and things will essentially start working out for me," like there's a lot of metrics that go behind it that you have to essentially continue to develop and understand. There's new skill sets that you ultimately have to learn. Right. So I,
mm.
I want to hear your feedback on that and your insights on that as well. Because I know for you, like you're scheduling calls with people, but you're um how you with how you had to develop that new skill set, and you're still learning of course, but I want to
Mm.
hear how you've been developing this new skill set with messaging new people and booking calls as well.
Yeah, so of course the Facebook group, it does sound like it's, going to be extremely easy and you get, clients coming in on autopilot and people messaging you want to work with you, but it's not always, that simple or that easy up front. I mean, when I first made the Facebook group, I had to also of course include a bio, kind of just describing the rules and how the Facebook group works and kind of what it all entails and what they're going to get out of it as well. And then of course there's the welcome video I made. It kind of took me maybe like 50 attempts before I finally got something I was like maybe at
Yeah,
least somewhat comfortable with putting out there for
yeah.
everyone else to see. So it may just come down to me being a little bit OCD with perfectionism, but I wanted to have something that I could actually be proud of to put out there and include and have in my
Sure.
group, for an extended period of time. So that, of course, took some legwork up front. And then, of course, it comes down to the DMing as well is like the I think 80% of the Facebook group as well, just from the fact that you need to if you're not outreaching and making contact with people to join your group, they're not going to come find it on their own, right? So
For sure.
I'm sending tons of DMs a day, at least 30 a day, and just sending the invitation to the group, letting them know what it is, who it's for, and why they're going to benefit out of it as well. And then after they do join, I also, re-engage with them in the DMs to try and help myself to better understand where they're at in their business, what their problem areas are, and how I can help to, improve those problems that they do have through copywriting, of course.
Love
So
it.
it's a lot of work in the DMs, and it was not something that I was really used to doing. I mean, before I joined the MC community, I was doing a lot of cold outreach through email, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't really know what to say. So actually interacting with people one on one through DMs is really a whole nother ball game. But, it really comes down to putting in the reps each and every single day. And it starts to feel like more, second nature to me, where I feel like I actually, understand it a bit more each day. I'm feeling more comfortable and I'm starting to feel like this is something that I can,
Yeah.
somewhat get a good handle on. Kind of like riding a bike when you first jump on a bike for the first time, or you try,
Yeah.
hitting a putt with a golf club for the first time. It's going to feel pretty awkward. You might fall down, you might scratch your knee, you might feel like you want to, throw the bike and not get on it again. But the more you
Yeah.
keep putting in the reps and trying over and over and over again, it starts to feel like it's, second nature to you.
Yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, man, it's a matter of the Facebook group, man, it's a long game that we're playing with the community. And I even want to bring up as well the welcome video. I know you said that you did it 50 times. Have me thinking about how many times I did my welcome video. So for everybody that's watching this right now, you guys of course have probably seen my welcome video. I did that in my parents' basement, right? It was I think I tried it. I did that same video. I think I did it at least 30 to 40 times before realizing that that video that I did was the best video. I was like, you know what? Screw it. This is going to be the video I'm putting up out there. Right? And I think it just goes back to the fact that, the biggest thing about the welcome video content messaging, nothing is ever going to be perfect. Like my philosophy as I'm, building out my own Facebook group is none of the content is going to be perfect, is going to be perfect, but it's a matter of just showing up and just posting it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that video, the welcome video that I currently have right now, that video, I think I was stuttering. I was like saying, I was doing so many things in that video. But to me, it's like there'll never be a perfect video. I think it's a matter of just, you show up, you do the video, you post it, and then naturally with time, your content gets better and better and better. And people see that evolution. Like I think from my welcome video to Nick today, you can see the growth from in terms of like vocabulary, the way I speak, my confidence. You could see the growth. And that to me, I think is really massive, right? And even for you, Rob, like as you continue growing your group from the welcome video that you have now, the more you post content, the more you do live videos, people will be like, wow, I Rob's group, I just see this welcome video. And then as you continue to do more videos and more videos and more videos, they'll then see a video of you just speaking extremely confidently, be like, wow, this guy really grew a
Yeah.
lot.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I'm even sensing that as well. Like I'm when I chat with people, even when I'm jumping on calls with people, I get that where people are like, Nick, I checked out your welcome video. I see you've had so much growth within the way you speak, your confidence, all these things as well. And to me, there's a power in that. There's a power in that because it shows the growth level. So yeah, it's a matter again, nothing that you do in terms of the videos, like the content, nothing is ever perfect, but it's a matter of just showing
Mm-hmm.
up and doing the thing that you have control on, right? The things that you have control on as well. And if you could piggyback on that too, that'd be great, man. Because I think
Yeah.
there's a massive. Mhm.
Yeah, like I think in my personal case itself, I've never really been on camera much at all before joining the MC community. And I think I'm a bit more of an introvert than I am an extrovert. Kind of just depends on the situation, of course, and if I'm with close friends or someone I haven't, met before. But as far as like getting on camera and talking to people that I've never met before, it was something I've never done before and definitely out of my comfort zone. But I feel like at least for me, I can start to see very, very little fine increments of improvement or even just more comfortability each time I do a video, whether it's going through like a live training or even posting a quick reel to go over a copywriting principle to give advice, or even just like talking about copywriting in general, or even doing like interviews with you too. I think I'm starting to get more comfortable with being on
Yeah.
camera and, make building my brand, so to speak, as well. Whereas before it was something that I never really even put any thought into wanting to do and kind of break out of my comfort zone, even try. So I think I
Mhm.
am making, a lot of strides in the right direction in regards to that. And I'm actually, pretty happy of where I've come so far, with of course keeping in mind where I want to go from here and where I want to be ultimately too. So, and I think to your point, it's about showing up every day and doing the things that may not be as comfortable, but it's going to lead to growth. And you need to do it in order to get to where you want to be, is
You
the
gotta
biggest thing
do
as
it, man.
well.
100%, 100%. And I even want to bring up as well the fact too, it's like the whole key to the Facebook group game is just again just showing up and doing the basics.
Hmm.
So the five flows that I believe is the basic foundations for growing the group is number one, traffic and leads. Traffic and leads. So essentially, for those of you that aren't familiar with traffic and leads, what this is, leads are people that may be potentially interested in what you have to offer. So number one, right, which is the first flow, how are we getting leads to now see who you are? So how we do that is by two ways. Cold inviting people to the community, where it's like, hey, come join my group. Hey, I'm XYZ, come join my group. I help with XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. Come join my group. That's a great way to do it. And we want to do 30 of invites on a daily basis. And another way to do, which is what I'm currently doing too, is running ads to a group. So for everybody that's watching this, maybe if you came from an ad, maybe you didn't. I'm currently running ads to my group, and I'm like, hey, XYZ. Um, I of course have the ad that's running. They then click on the ad. They then fill out an instant form that puts in their name, their phone number, and their email. So I'm able to get them onto my email list, and also I'm able to contact them for their number if I ever want to call these leads. And I'm funneling people to my community. This way, my ads are allowing me to get more people to the group. And then I have Tyler, right? And I definitely want to talk about Tyler too, and how Tyler helped in the DMs too in today's in the podcast. But I have Tyler on my DM setter. So if you guys are messaging, I'm probably messaging you guys. That's my DM setter, Tyler, who's doing it, and he's a blessing. But Tyler's now messaging, connecting with these people. All right. So number one, it goes traffic. So how are we getting traffic to the group? Number one, cold invites. Number two, ads. Like if I were to kind of talk about my story on how I first started, when I first started, I had literally zero money inside the business. Like I had literally $0. So what this meant for me was that I needed to put in time in order to grow the group because I didn't have anything to spend on ads. Well, of course, ads makes the group, I get more leads a lot more quickly, but I didn't have the money to run paid ads. So I had to put in a lot of. So every single day, what I was doing was I was literally inviting 30 people every single day since 2022. It's even now where I'm just inviting people to the community. Although it sucks and it's annoying, don't get me wrong, that is what you ultimately have to do to make sure the group grows. We have to do the cold invites. You have to do the group. Now, will you get people that say, no, I don't want to join the group? Of course. This is just part of welcome to entrepreneurship. This is part of the game. You will get people that say no. You will get rejections. That's perfectly fine. My philosophy is you just focus on the next person. Because at the end of the day, to me, everything's all a big numbers game at the end of the day, right? If you send 30 invites, you probably will get a lot of people that will say no, but you will still get a small enough people in the sea to say yes. You then invite those people to the group, and now they're in your world. And then as they're now growing the group, whether it be ads or organically, the next flow is now content, right? So the second flow is content. How exactly are we nurturing these leads that are now joining the community? Right? So this is when you're doing, live trainings like what we're doing right now. Right? I'm doing a live training with Rob here, and I'm now getting everybody into the community to see my stuff, see who I am, and build a virtual relationship with me. I'm posting valuable posts inside the group. We're doing reels, like same thing that Rob is doing inside his community, doing valuable posts, doing reels, and giving value to the community. Because here's the thing about your Facebook group is if you build it out correctly and you do it the right way, and if you continue to give and give and give and give more to the community in terms of your knowledge, the community will give back to you. The community will give back to you. So what do I mean by that? By you constantly giving value to the group, you constantly giving valuable tips. As you do it consistently and long enough, the group will give back to you in terms of, hey, a new paying client just enrolled into your services. That's the key to the game right there. This is why I'm so big on you want to post content inside your group. You want to do it because what it does is it allows people to build a virtual relationship with you and build trust with you. That's the key to the game, folks. Right. So we want to give to the group and give all your knowledge away. Like, and for sure, you can come into the mindset of thinking like, oh my gosh, I gotta give all my secrets away. Yes, give all your secrets away.
Yeah.
Give all your secrets away. Give all your knowledge away. Because the thing about it is people aren't paying for information. Information is cheap. People can go on YouTube to probably search up what your all your knowledge that you have on copyright. They can go on Google. They can go look at another person's social media post. People are not paying for information. What people are paying for is implementation and a result. Like for example, as a copywriter, people aren't paying for all your knowledge, but what people are paying for is, hey, if I invest into you, will you implement the knowledge that you've learned as a copywriter and making sure I can actually get a result from it? That's the thing people actually care about, right? Like for me, like the reason why I give all my information for free because at the end of the day, like I know that for sure people are getting a lot of value, but people aren't going to be paying for my information. What are people going to pay for? If I, work with you, Nick, will you be there for me? Will you give me the right support? Will you make sure you implement everything that you're saying? Will you be there when I get stuck? That's the thing that people actually care about. Right.
Right.
That's a massive mindset shift that I really want everybody to understand as well. And even for you, Rob, can if you could talk about that too, about the
Yeah.
concept of, understanding that there's a power in giving a lot of value to people, especially in your community.
Yeah, so for my community specifically, I am really focusing on providing value up front, whether it is, going through live trainings, giving examples of how to write an awesome subject line that converts and gets people to click into it, or
Yeah.
even just giving them any kind of tips and tricks in regards to copywriting, even like principles as well. I'm basically giving out all the information that I've learned through you and putting it into my Facebook group for other people to really absorb and digest. And to your point too, though, they can get all the information in the world, but they need the help behind the implementation. And that's where I come as the copywriter because, they can take all the free content up front and try and implement it, but they're also going to end up having questions or even, have obstacles that they run into where they don't really have the end level expertise that you or myself may have at the stage of our entrepreneurship or our skill set at this point in time. So I think
100%.
that's the biggest thing as well. I mean, myself personally too, I know it's not directly related to the Facebook group, but when I was kind of learning copywriting by myself through YouTube, self-taught, I at least got some fundamentals and some templates and a better understanding of how to, do copywriting overall, but I really didn't know how to exactly implement it as well. And that was the biggest issue for me at the end of the road of my copywriting, self-taught method through YouTube. It was a big issue with basically learning how to really implement it and how to really go about finding ways to introduce it into my business.
Hmm.
So, yeah, a lot of it comes down to as well just trying to find a way you can get a lot of information up front, but also having a support system there for you as well to really help you, get questions answered and really have someone there that has your back. And that's what you've
Hmm.
been for me in my copywriting business. And that's what I really want to be for other people who are, absorbing my content and don't really know how to exactly implement it into their business.
Yeah.
If I give them the information, I also want to be there to also help them and show them how to implement it. So I think those are
Yeah.
two different things, taking in the information in the advice and the value, and then also knowing how to actually insert it into your business, I think are two separate things.
1000%, 1000%. And one thing that I even want to bring up as well, because like even if I go through your comment section, like if I share my screen,
Yeah.
let's go to Rob's screen. So like the thing about your content, because I was going through and again, like you're getting people like they're liking, commenting, you're getting people who are watching, which is good, right? Like I remember like for example, like you're getting people commenting down below, like
Mhm.
your biggest business blind spot and how to fix it starting today, right? Market research, right? So you give so much value and you have people even commenting down below, like thank you for sharing. I have a worksheet that I use
Mhm.
for clarity. I could tell 100% agree with this insight on blind spots, right? So to me, what this is telling me is that again, Rob is now getting people to again get value from him and comment under his stuff. And now you're getting people that are like, wow, this guy Rob knows what he's talking about. Wow, I'm getting so much value. I'm getting a lot of insights. And that's essentially what the power of what the content's supposed to do. Like, for example, everyone, when I post my value posts inside my own personal Facebook group, right? Maybe you've commented down below, maybe you haven't. But the reason why I do that is because my job at the end of the day is to make sure I give enough value to my community. This way, the community then gives back to me. As in, somebody builds enough trust with me, somebody has absorbed so much content from me, they're like, Nick, I want to work with you. That's ultimately the whole game of the group, right? To build
Hmm.
and give enough value to somebody for them to be like, wow, I want to work with this guy. I know exactly what this person does. I see so much value. I see all the content. Let me see how I can work with this individual. Right. And
Hmm.
of course, Rob, like I know your group is, you have we're almost at 100 members, which to me is a massive milestone. And I do want to bring up the fact as well, because just to give everybody perspective on everything, to me, the whole biggest thing about growing a group is we want to constantly focus on the long-term scope behind the community. As in, if you continue to just get more and more members inside the group, naturally you have more conversations with people, and naturally you will get more people who are going to be willing to invest into a high ticket service.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's a big numbers game, of course.
For sure.
The more, I guess, larger your sample size is of potential, prospects that would be clients, the higher rate of your success, it becomes.
For sure.
So,
100%. 100%, right? So we went through flow number two, which is content, and then flow number three as well is just the actual messaging itself. Right. So when messaging everyone, again, probably message you, probably have messaged you. I probably have messaged you. Or my Tyler's probably messaging you, but my entire again, guys, my DM setter. But essentially when somebody now joins the group, the next step right after is they answer membership questions. So for example, I wish I can let's see if I'll just go to the program itself. So once now somebody joins the group, everyone, the next stage right after is we want to get them to answer membership questions. So what membership questions are, so let's see. So structuring your Facebook group, I believe it's this one. So what membership questions are, or to keep it simple, is to qualify someone to join the community, to join the group. All right. So for example, yep. So it goes like this. We first want to collect their email. So what the email is to help with if you ever plan on building an email list in the future, which I highly recommend doing in the future. You now have emails that you're collecting to start building out your email list in the future. Next is their current situation. So a current situation is how much money are they currently making? Are they making 0 to 5K, 5K to 10K, 15 to 50, 100K plus? So now you're able to see how much money the business is actually making. Next is the pain point. So what is the biggest challenge you face with copywriting? Is it not getting conversions? Is it not having a copywriter? Right. And they're like, hey, not having a copywriter, you could potentially pitch your services to them to essentially jump them onto a call. Or if they're like not getting conversions, now you want to start connecting with them inside the DMs and
hmm.
understand the current situation. Now, the thing about it, everybody, the DM game, like we mentioned before, it's it's a if it's a new language if you've never messaged somebody before. It's a brand new language. It's a brand new language. And the reason why I say that is because naturally as copywriters, like we're gifted to write. Like we can write really good content, but actually connecting with somebody inside the DMs to getting them to book onto a call with you, that takes a little bit of time and you have to develop that skill. You have to, right? It's not the easiest thing to, message somebody you've never messaged before and get them onto a call. It's not that easy. Like it sounds simple to
Hmm.
do, but it's not that easy to do, right? But once you unlock that skill level, that's when you really start to really move things forward. Because my philosophy is this. business, there's only two things that we got to focus on. And to me, the the first thing, which is the most important thing, is how many calls are we booking? Lastly, is how many deals are we closing? Those are the two biggest things we need to focus on every single day. How many calls are we booking? How many deals are we closing? Because ultimately, the whole game of business, if we're talking to enough people, and after that, and of course, you have to filter out people who are going to be unqualified, people who will not, who just won't have any money, people who are going to
Hmm.
cancel, all these things as well. That's why to me, it's all a matter of how many calls. If you book a ton of calls, great. After that is how many deals can we close? Because once we're actually closing deals, that's when you can actually start making, again, you have paying clients now. You're making money from the in the business, right?
Right.
So that's why the whole key to the game, everybody, when you're messaging people, once you really understand the messaging game, that's why I believe once you understand messaging and you're able to book calls consistently, like every single day, um, understand right after it's all in the numbers. As in, if you book 60 calls and like if you book 60 calls, X amount of people are not gonna show up, X amount of people are gonna cancel, X amount of people are gonna do XYZ. And you know that, if you book a certain amount of calls and you're gonna get a certain amount of people to essentially enroll for your services, that's ultimately the biggest factor to everything. Right. So yeah, again, everything in terms of the messaging, booking calls, it's all in the numbers at the end of the day. And Rob as well, if you can kind of break that down too of your journey with messaging people, understanding that it wasn't easy. I mean, you're booking calls as well. Like, of course, there's still a lot to learn. Um, but I definitely want to hear your insights with the messaging though.
Yeah, so in terms of messaging, I do have a long way to go in terms of me really feeling like I'm someone who is somewhat mastering the DMs. I mean, I'm getting better each day just by me putting in the reps each day to try and improve and try and, sharpen that skill set. But when I first joined the program and first did my DMs, I think I was coming back to like every day just wondering what to say next. Even though I was, of course, following the script, I wanted to make sure that I was still sending something that would align with what reply I was getting back from the prospect. So yeah, I think for me the DMs is just something that's going to take time to kind of, hone and sharpen as a skill set. But the more that I keep doing it and putting in the reps, the more comfortable it becomes as well. And I was talking to Tyler about it a little bit more yesterday as well in terms of how I should best go about, sending follow-ups or even what to best respond when someone does read my message, but they don't actually reply back. So there's little scenarios like that where, you know, the old me wouldn't even know where to even begin in terms of what do I say for a follow-up if they just read my message and, leave me on read, or what if they just don't even, look at my message and it's been like a week or two since we've had any kind of, conversation. How do I restart that conversation and revive it? Or
Yeah.
how do I respond back to someone who kind of feels like they're on the fence and are not really, too open to divulging too much information back to me? There's all these different scenarios in the DMs that can occur that are not like a one size fits all for all your conversations. So I think, having yourself and having Tyler and someone else there that can, kind of help you with better understanding what to do in each situation, and then kind of helping you to also take away tidbits to kind of apply when you or Tyler are not there and we're kind of just trying to get through it and sharpen our skill set by ourselves just so we can feel like we're more confident with it. It's just going to end up taking time is what I'm really learning, and the reps of course too. You can't
Yeah.
expect to get good at something unless you're showing up each and every single day, even if it's, one DM a day or even 5, 10, 15. The more you do, you're going to get obviously better, but doing one
Yeah.
DM is better than doing none at all too. If you feel like you're pressed for time and you're even sending it off mobile on your lunch break, it's just a matter of exposing yourself more and more and more, to that skill set for it to then magnify itself.
1000%, 1000%. I definitely want to pick it back up to the follow-ups as well. I think who was I talking to about this? I think it was Carrie. I was talking I
Mhm.
sent Carrie a voice notes about this earlier, But I feel like as individuals, we can come from a place of like, oh my gosh, like I'm scared to follow up with somebody. Like, what happens? I don't want to come off as pushy or salesy or rude or anything as well, or I don't want to piss anybody off.
Yeah.
Which of course, I understand exactly where you're coming from with that. But I think it's a mindset shift of understanding that for me personally, I think if you value your services, you understand what you offer, you understand what you can provide as a copywriter, I think the best thing that you could ever do is follow up with somebody. Now, the reason why I say that is because naturally, if you know that you can do something really well for somebody, you have the skill set to help them out, you have a service that's going to be beneficial and make an impact on the business, to me, the best thing you can do is follow up with them with that person because you know what you can provide for them. You know that. And you feel confident in yourself of knowing that you could be able to provide and get results for that individual. Right? Because at the end of the day, we're in the game of helping people and helping their business as a copywriter. You're there to help their business. Right. And to me, it's kind of like a disservice if you kind of just leave that person to continue doing the same thing that's not getting them
Mhm.
any results, right? Knowing that you can help them as well. So I think it's a mindset shift with the follow. It's a mindset shift with following up with people. Because if you know that you have something that's actually valuable and really helpful for somebody, the best thing you can do is follow up with them. The best thing you can do with them. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say you have to follow with them 10, 15, 30 times. Of course
Yeah.
not. That of course could be excessive, but it doesn't hurt to do, an extra 2 to 3 messages. If they don't respond back, cool, you focus on the next person. But to me, the key to the game is following because that's where the real money is at.
Right.
That to me is where the real actual gold is when you follow up with
Mhm.
people. Because sometimes as well, people can be, you might send a message, you might get left on red. Um, and sometimes that person actually meant to respond back to you, but they're actually busy in the moment and just couldn't
Right.
respond to you. We
Right.
just we just never want to assume anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah. I think the big thing too, I think I read a stat at one point in time too that said like 70 or 80% of sales occur on the somewhere between like the seventh and ninth follow-up as well. So it's just the name of the game when you're running a business as well. Whether
Yeah.
you're selling a product or a service, I mean, and you're really upfront as the salesman or saleswoman of your company or your business, you have to just automatically expect that things are not going to go the way you want them to go on the first DM, right?
Mhm.
It's going to take time. It's going to take follow up. It's going to take resiliency and persistence in order to really get what you want out of it.
1000%. 1000%. Yeah. The key to the game is again following it because that's ultimately the best thing that you can do. Right. And then after, so we have the third flow, which is the messenger. The next piece of the game, which is the fourth flow, which is sales. Right now, I know for everybody as well, whether you're watching this or whether you're watching the replay, I know sales. I mean, I know a lot of people. I know for myself, I never came from a sales background. I went to
Mm,
school, you know, went to school for criminal justice. I have no sales background whatsoever. But after learning from a lot of people, getting mentorship and understanding that what the whole game of sales is, in my personal opinion, after talking to a lot of my mentors and them helping me, is understanding that sales is making sure we're talking to enough educated people for them to make a decision. Like, I know for me, I never want to put somebody in a place where they feel uncomfortable to, make a decision to work with me. I have to like trap them. I'm like, hey, let me get your money right now. Like, I
yeah.
never want to put somebody in that situation. But I know that the game of it all, I know for my sales process is I want to make sure the person feels comfortable enough to make a decision where it's like I've seen enough value from you and I want to like they've sold themselves as to why they need to work with me. And this is what I've even done even when I was a copywriter as well, even for now as a coach and even when I was a copywriter. I was jumping on these calls, of course, going through the framework. Hey, what's your current situation? What's your goals? What's holding you back? I was going through that flow, but I wanted to make sure as well they were educated enough on who I am, and they sold themselves as to why they needed to hire me as a copywriter. Right.
Hmm.
And that was from posting a lot of content, making sure I was giving them some tips as well throughout the call. Because what that does is when you come from a place of building value and building a relationship with someone, people will naturally become more interested in you. People will naturally become interested in you. And I think to me that's really the whole game of it all in terms of sales, of understanding that, you have to come from a place of value, and making sure people are educated enough on who you are for them to make a decision, and be sold. So they have to sell themselves as to why you're the solution for them.
Right. Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
biggest thing with the Facebook group too, honestly, is these individuals that I'm inviting to join my group, they obviously have a good indication. Maybe it's like a baseline knowledge of copywriting, or maybe just a basic overall premise of what copywriting is. But I do know that these people that are actually joining my group based on my invite, they obviously have some degree of interest in copywriting. Otherwise, they wouldn't be joining, whether they
Mhm.
just want to simply learn more, or they really feel like they're at a point right now where they need to actually implement a copywriter in their business. I know that they're at least passing my first, wave of prospecting in terms of them being somewhat qualified when they're joining.
Mhm.
And I think when I'm exposing them to certain information, whether it's, daily posts or even trainings or even, shorts, reels that I'm posting in the group as well, they're getting free education. And like you said too, they're also, developing trust and credibility with myself to then also lead to that sales call where they already at least know who I am, what I do. And by the time we get to the sales call, I feel like they already have a built up level of trust and confidence in me to really help them, push the needle forward in their business too. So
1000%, 1000%. It's again, and that's why the content and the sales piece come hand to hand together. Because when somebody then joins the group, you could send them some resources. And this is why I'm so big on, post all your testimonials inside your group. Do, live interviews with people that you've written copy for. Because same thing for me. What do I do? If somebody gets a really good result inside my program, I'm like, hey, let's jump on an interview together. And I do it inside my group. Why? Because I have a big enough audience of people. I have an audience of people that can see it. They're like, wow, this guy Nick has helped this person. Wow, this guy and that's
yeah.
essentially the power of what the group can do.
Mm,
Where for clients that you're working with and you're writing their copy, you can jump them onto a call. You're now growing your audience. They're now seeing exactly all these things. You do a video, you promote it, and now you're getting a lot of your group to see this and like, wow, Rob can do this, or hey, XYZ can do this, or wow,
yeah.
XYZ, and it's building up your credibility.
Mm. And I think it helps them to want to achieve that same level of success or result that your interviewee had, right? Whether it's a
Mm,
client that I may have worked with before and they're giving me a testimonial and I'm posting in my group. I really do, have a belief in the fact that they would want to have that same level of success and achieve the same results that client of mine did as well. And
for
that's why
sure.
I want to show them those testimonials and those, reviews too.
For sure, for sure, for sure. And another thing too, and I know I just finished the lesson on this too, is building out a webinar, right?
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
you got a chance to look at the lesson on it, right?
I did. Yes, I watched it last night.
What was your biggest insights? And I kind of want you to connect it with the power of content.
Mm.
And yeah, just talking about it and why it's important to do that, because
Yeah.
I've done that in my group plenty of times.
Mm. Yeah.
But I want you to talk about that as well, and how it can be really beneficial to post in a group and get people to see the value that you can provide.
Yeah, I think my biggest takeaway from watching your webinar video is the fact that I'm going to be putting my whole self out there, meaning my background story, my struggles, what worked for me in the past, where I kind of encountered challenges. And I think the most important thing with a webinar is being able to actually lay it all on the table in terms of what my story is, what I've gone through, what my successes are, what I can offer to you, what my testimonials are, what my promises are to you in terms of you actually working with me and moving forward on on some kind of a business deal moving forward. I think the webinar really helps to add so much extra, greater insight and power into who you are and why it is that you do what you do and how you can ultimately help people to achieve XYZ results as well.
Yeah,
So I think the
100%.
webinar really helps to just build that trust and that credibility more than what a Facebook group could do. Because in the webinar, I'm going through a background of my story, what led me into copywriting, what kind of struggles or challenges I had along the way, and ultimately why I feel like you should trust me with your copywriting. Because it's a big deal, obviously, to have, someone take that responsibility for your business. And I think through the webinar, you can really help to reinforce that trust and really help to show them why you feel like you should be, why you should feel like you should earn that trust from them.
1000%, 1000%. And here's the thing about it as well is with the webinar, what it does is it allows you to differentiate yourself compared to everybody else in the industry.
Mhm.
So, for example, let's say if we have a business owner that go, hey, they have ten applicants or five applicants of people. They're like, why exactly should I choose you as a copywriter? A lot of copywriters would say, oh, you should choose me because of I write really good work or hey, I write really good copy. And like we're on to the next person. Everybody's saying that. But what the webinar does is it's a video of you breaking down your story and breaking down how you write really good copy, right? So, for example, like I just built this out yesterday. I'm breaking down the secrets for everybody tonight.
Yeah, giving them the gold nuggets.
Yeah, I'm giving the golden nuggets. But essentially, now we're should we go through the template? Do you think we should?
I think you did like cover right what you said before actually going to this web link. You did really cover the premise and the entire scope of what that webinar is too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I'll give you guys a quick scope of everything.
a sneak peek.
I'll give you guys a quick scope. So what a webinar is essentially a mini seminar that you can do. I recommend doing inside your group, but to keep it simple, it allows people to ultimately get clear on who you are as a copywriter and how you differentiate compared to everybody in the industry. So essentially, it breaks down how you write really good copy. So for
Mhm.
example, if you write really good copy by understanding the market, doing market research, or making sure you write personalized content that's tailored for the business owner that you're writing for, we want to make sure the webinar itself is tailored for that. So you break down your story, you break down all these things as well, and at the end you're like, "Hey, here's exactly how I write really good copy. I write really good copy
Hmm.
by doing market research for your business and doing XYZ as well."
Yeah.
And after, once you then promote it inside the group, right? So if I go to my own personal group right here, so I've done my webinar plenty of times, and I've actually booked a few calls from it right after. So I last time I did my webinar was January 18th, right? So it was the how I built a highly profitable copywriting business through the high rate of process, which is essentially my webinar, where people watch it. They're like, oh wow, I know Nick's story now. He was got arrested, he went to he went to school for criminal justice, he got stuck, and all these things, then he became a copywriter, and then all these things as well. People are now seeing my story and now understanding my process. And rather than me in the DMs or having to constantly tell people, hey, here's exactly my process or here's exactly what I do, what I can do is since I did my webinar, I can just send them that video for them to get educated on who I am,
Hmm.
which to me is a massive, massive asset. So the thing about it, guys, that I was saying this in my lesson yesterday, when I built this out.
Hmm.
The Facebook group is is the number one asset, is the number one asset to really scaling. But the second asset is building out that webinar, building that out, because I'm telling you, if you can get somebody to watch that full webinar, you get enough people to watch it and you do it right, you will get a good amount of people to be like, I know, I understand your story. I understand who you are,
Hmm.
understand how you write really good copy. Now I just need to know the price and I need to know exactly what you offer. And I think
Yeah.
that right there is how we get people educated enough to
Hmm.
potentially become a client, right?
Yeah.
Like whenever somebody books a call with me, what I do is I send them my webinar. So for you, Rob, when we build out the webinar, I know you said you're gonna start doing it. We can even book a one-on-one call together to build it out together. And even for all the clients that are watching this right now that are in phase two, um, we got to build out this webinar. Like this is necessary
Mm-hmm.
because this is how we get people educated enough by you because we send them a valuable resource for them to check out. They're like, wow, I know your story. Wow, I know exactly how you help, how you write really good copy. Now it's like, what exactly are you offering? What's the price of it? Right? Like, for example, for you, Rob, I think I sent you my webinar.
Yes.
I did, right?
Yeah. And I think the webinar you did, yes. And I think the biggest thing that kind of helped with me, like even watching your webinar, is that it's all being laid out on the table. And what I mean by that is there's no secrets behind, what it is that you do or how you do it or who you do it for. I mean, you're putting everything out there in the open for everyone to see, whether it's your background story, it's your process, your unique mechanism of how you write your copy and why it's effective and why it's going to work for your audience, your customers, your clients. So I think it really just helps to resonate that much more strongly with whoever it is watching that because it's different and you're showing that you're not afraid to put yourself out there and really just go into a background story of who you are, how you've gotten to where you've gotten to be, and really your whole process of why your business works, why your copywriting works and how, right? You're putting it all out
Exactly.
there.
Exactly. It's the how that really matters. Or
Mm,
people if it makes logical sense for people on how
yeah.
you do that, again, you do it really well, you do it correctly. Um, you get enough people to see that, you will ultimately have some people that be like, okay, I'm ready to take it to the next level. Right. So the biggest thing is now, like even for you, Rob, now that we built the group, um, the first thing that we want to do is promote it inside the community where we want to
Mhm.
get a bunch of people to watch that. And this is why like I recommend like building it out now, but let's get more people inside the group. Like I would recommend probably about like 200 to 300 people inside the group.
Mhm.
Or even 400 people, 200
Yeah.
250 to 300 people at least. We promote it to get people to watch it. We do it inside the group and then after that, we put it on YouTube and now we just got to funnel people to watch that video whenever they schedule a call with you.
Mhm.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's the, yeah,
I would say it's a perfect idea too, because I mean, it really helped to resonate, when I had your video sent to me, it really helped to reinforce, my belief in my trust in your process, seeing your background story, you being open about things and just showing me why your process works too and how it works. I think that's just, you can't really, do anything better than that in terms of really reinforcing trust and credibility.
yeah, 100%, 100%. It goes back to making sure you just have educated enough buyers after they watch,
Hmm.
they get enough value from you. They're like, yep, this is the route that I want to go. Right. And then after sales, the fifth flow is client success, right? So first flow goes organic, traffic. So doing it organic, paid ads. Second flow is content. Third is messaging. Fourth flow is sales. And then the last flow, which is the fifth, which is client success. And client
Hmm.
success, just get your clients really good results. And then if you want to make sure if you want to start getting more clients, go through back to the basics, continue growing the group, posting content, booking more calls,
Hmm.
jumping on sales calls. Then
Yeah.
after that, it's like if you feel capped out, right? You can, continue to just keep growing a group and start building a wait list. Or if you want to start making more money without having to take on more clients, I think, in my personal opinion, the best thing that you can do is now just delegate and hire junior copywriters underneath you to ultimately start really building an agency now where you have copywriters that are working below you, and now you have people that are writing copy for you now. You as the CEO
Hmm.
of your agency, you now have again people that are doing the work for you and you have your time back.
Right.
You have your
Right.
time back, right?
Yeah, that's definitely the ultimate goal there too, for sure.
Yeah, that's the key to the game. And the thing about the Facebook group, guys, it's again, I've been going my group since late 2022. So September, October 2022, right? And right now we're at 1.8 members. And now like I'm building out my team now, right? So it's a matter of understanding that, the key to it all is you got to focus on the long game. Like to me, my Facebook group is a long game. Like I see the potential in it because I know that as I continue to just keep growing my group, continue to give value to the community, continue to message people, naturally the group will get back to me. As in somebody's gonna be like, Nick, I want to work with you, or somebody's gonna be like, Nick, I'm loving the stuff that you're posting, and they're posting inside my group, and now it's building up more credibility. Like that's the thing that I see with the community. Right. So that's why I'm very big on, like, as a copywriter, if you're not looking to scale, um, I think, understand as well, it sounds simple to grow a group. It's not easy to do, but if you do it right and you get the right feedback and, you understand and you focus on those five flows and really become a master of those five flows in terms of growing the group daily,
Hmm.
posting content, messaging people, jumping on calls to get clients and ultimately get your clients really good results, the group will be a massive asset for you. But you have to make sure you focus on those five things and do it extremely well and really master it to a T. That's why
Yeah.
I like my philosophy is all about mastering the basics.
Hmm.
What are the basic fun? Yep, you're gonna say?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was going to say the Facebook group itself doesn't sound easy, but it's the rinse and repeat of the five pillars that is the easy part. I mean, that never changes. Once it works the first time, it's about repeating it again over and over and over again until you get to a point where you feel like you may be capped out on clients.
Yeah,
But that's the easy part, I'd say, if anything, is how simple it can be just to repeat that same process twofold across other prospects that would then be clients for you.
exactly, exactly. And I think one thing too to piggyback to what you were saying, it's like the same way that you can book your first call. It's the same exact way you're going to book your second call, same exact way you're going to book your third call, same exact way you're going to book your fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, to the point now where you do the same exact thing to book a call to eventually enroll a high paying client. That's the thing. That's the thing. It's a matter of just doing the same repetitive things to ultimately get to the end outcome. Right?
Hmm.
Like example for Rob. So Rob actually just landed a client from his group. Now the client is I think it's you're on commission right now, but although it's commission though, it might not be like a retainer client as for right now, not for right now. uh
Hmm.
Although it's a commission client, to me you made the process work, as in you grew the group, you got somebody to say, yes, Rob, I want to work with you. Now, of course, is it $1,000 retainer client? Not right now, but at the same time, though, it's still a mindset shift of knowing that I have something that actually works. Now it's a matter of I just got to do the same thing over and over and over again to get that high paying retainer client.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think once you see it work the first time, even though it is a commission-based client, like you mentioned as well, it's just a level of satisfaction and confidence boost for myself, knowing that I've actually seen the process go full circle with my own eyes, that it actually does work, and
Yeah,
that I've collected payment before, of course, through other clients that I've onboarded, through just the DM process and the DM method. But being able to see things actually work and come to fruition just helps to reinforce that confidence level and just the faith in knowing that it can happen again just by me repeating the same exact steps over and
yeah,
over again.
100%, 100%. And to put things in perspective too, like right now, guys, Rob has 84 members inside the group. And I mean, I know the clients that you enrolled, what is it, like two clients? I know they weren't, high ticket clients, but you enrolled
Mhm.
two or three clients from the group so far.
Yes, I think at least the other client that I did onboard maybe about a month ago when I first started the group, we're working on strictly like project-based assignments.
Yeah.
So I wrote a landing page for him and I was able to collect $100. So it's better than I didn't have $100 before, obviously. So
Yeah, yeah,
even
yeah.
though it's not high ticket, it is still something, and I am seeing the process, work.
Yeah.
And that'll be strictly on like a project-based sort of incentive, but it is, something to look forward to as well.
1,000%, 1,000%. And the thing about it too, everyone, it's like, although like you'd be like, okay, but Rob hasn't, it's not a high ticket client for sure. But the biggest thing though is that we have something that is slowly, slowly working. And to me, it's a matter of constantly just filling the group up with new people, conversing with new people inside the DMs, and saying, "Hey, my offer is $1,000 retainer," and just
Mhm.
sticking with that, and just getting somebody to be like, "Yes, I want to work." Right? Like again, you've enrolled two people through 84 members. I think to me, it's like again, back to the numbers. If we just keep getting new people to the community, talking to new people, saying your services are X amount,
Mhm.
naturally you will get somebody to say yes. We just got to continue to just focus on the basics, just keep growing the group, keep
Yeah,
growing.
I think it comes down to like simple probability too. Like the more people I have in the group, the higher chance I'm going to have of actually getting, more clients, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Cool, man. Well, Toronto goes 85. I just joined. Very cool. What's going on, Toronto? What's going on, Jamal? But yeah, man, how did you enjoy this podcast-ish live training? I think it was
I like
insights.
Yeah, I liked it. It's fun being able to, give insight to other people as far as what I'm currently doing right now in my business and why I feel like it's the best route to go with right now for the copywriting business as a whole, through the
Yeah,
Facebook group. I
yeah,
always like being able to give people a better, inside scoop or insight overall into the current process that I have, working through my business.
yeah,
So it
man.
was
I love
fun.
it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, there's a lot of golden nuggets we just broke down just now. But yeah, I think for everybody that's watching this right now, before we kind of end, I think to give everybody just one clear takeaway is understanding that, the Facebook group, guys, is it's a long it's the long game that we're playing with the Facebook group, right? Like again, I've been building out my group since 2022. Um,
Mhm.
and now we're almost at 2,000 members, 2,000 members, right? And it's a matter of just understanding that if you just focus on the basics, am I growing the group daily? Great. Am I posting content daily in my group? Great. Am I messaging people that are joining the group? Welcome them inside the group, building relationship, booking calls? Great. Am I jumping on sales calls? Knowing that sometimes some people just won't buy, some people just aren't ready, some people are going to cancel out, some people are going to be unqualified, understanding that if you still talk to enough people and book enough calls, you ultimately will still close a high paying client. It's just a matter of understanding your numbers and understanding that everything's all in the numbers at the end of the day.
Mhm.
And then as you're now closing deals, you're now working with paying clients. The last flow is just get those clients really good results. And then once you feel capped out, you're like, hey, I can't handle any more clients anymore. Start building your wait list if you want to start doing that, or start hiring other people in the back end to start building out the agency and ultimately yeah, start having people working below you, which is the biggest thing, right? Well, I like to say below you, but you have a partners
Right.
working with to build
Mhm.
something massive. Yeah,
Yeah.
I never want to say working below you. I don't think it's a good way to say it. I think my philosophy is like you for people that are working with you, like your team members, understanding like those people are never below you. These people are the same exact level as you. Everybody
Mhm.
just has different departments.
Right. Yeah. It's
Everybody
like
has different
a
departments
lateral, a lateral sort of alignment in the business where you're all working shoulder to shoulder.
together.
Yeah.
Exactly. Everybody's working together, forming a unity together. Right.
Yeah.
That's essentially how I even that's my philosophy even with my team as I'm building it out. It's like
Mhm.
nobody's is ever below me. Nobody's ever below me. We're on the same exact level. You have this department, you have the messaging department, I have the XYZ department, you have the XYZ department, and we're all here to move this ship forward together. Right. So
Mhm.
that's
Yep.
the biggest thing, man. That's the biggest thing. But yeah, man, this was a good little mini podcast, man.
Yeah.
What was your insights, your biggest takeaways from this, bro?
I think the biggest like takeaway and reinforcement for myself as well is just the fact that you have to show up every day. I mean, I know we say this all the time and it may sound a bit cliche, but regardless of whatever business it is that you have, as long as you show up every single day and
Yeah.
take some level of daily massive action, even mini action, it's not, it doesn't need to be massive every day, but as long as you're doing something to keep, pushing that rock or that stone up the hill or even like pushing that needle forward, you're getting that much closer to achieving your goal. It's baby steps and it may be increments, but you're at least doing something positively to keep pushing things ahead.
Yeah. 100%. And even as well to bring up the massive action or just putting in mini action as well. Like even as you're growing your own group, like I was talking to Jamal about this too, because he said that he had a little bit of difficulty, reaching that 30 invites. Like, of course, is the aim to do 30 invites daily, of course, but even if you just do 5 invites, six,
Mm.
7, 8, 10 invites, even one invite, that's the biggest thing because that's just a new opportunity, right? I feel like sometimes we get so caught up on like, oh my God, like I have to hit the 30, which of course is the goal. But
Right.
understand if you can't do the 30 today, because of course you have work, you have XYZ, you have family, that's perfectly fine. But at the same time, though, understand even if you just do one, even if you do two, even if you do 5, 10, 15, those are just new opportunities right there. Because even if you just send one, that one person might say yes to joining the group, and now you have a new leader
Mm.
in your community.
Yeah, those are more potential opportunities that you put yourself up to for success you didn't have before. You
Yeah,
know, if you don't send those messages, they're not going to come find you on their own. Maybe not yet. Maybe once you start building that brand up even more. But if you don't send those DMs and start those conversations, nothing's going to happen, by itself, by chance.
100%, 100%. Well, I think we can probably start wrapping up, bro. I really appreciate you for jumping on today, Rob. I think it was definitely a lot of golden nuggets we broke down, and it's great to have somebody as well that's again doing the same exact process that even for myself I'm doing,
Yeah.
in terms of building a Facebook group and growing it. And it's good to hear your insights on things that you've done because we just started the group around this time last month. And now we're almost at 100 members and
Mm.
loving the growth that you're having, bro. I'm loving the growth
Thank
that
you.
you're having. And now it's a matter of just staying consistent with the process.
Yeah, definitely. It was a great pleasure. Thank you as always for,
Of
the
course, man.
invitation and for all of your help too. I'm looking
Of
forward
course,
for what
man.
the rest of the year has.
Yes, sir, man. I'll message you probably after this call
Okay.
to check in on you, bro.
Okay. Thank you, brother. Appreciate
All
it.
right, of course, man. Again, for everybody that watched this, hope you guys got a lot of insights. Hopefully, this live training gave you some new takeaways and things started to click in terms of building the foundation of a Facebook group. All right. So again, Rob, love you as always, my brother.
Love you too.
Um,
Thank you.
we'll be chatting soon. And for everybody as well, again, as I always say, if nobody believes you guys, I believe in you guys as always. All right. So again, we'll chat soon, Rob. All right,
Okay.
bro. All
Thank you, Nick. Yep. Talk
right,
to you soon,
guys.
bro. Take it
Bye
easy.
bye.
All right. Bye bye.